The picturesque Bluegrass region of northern Kentucky, long known as a training ground for thoroughbred legends, today provides a setting as we breed the rising IndyCar stars of tomorrow. Back in April, 18-year-old Marco Andretti mastered the streets of St. Pete and in June conquered the road course in Indianapolis. Now the third-generation driver chases his first ever oval track win. His competition series point leader Wade Cunningham and veteran Jeff Simmons fresh off a win at Milwaukee. The horses are poised and the track is ready. The Bluegrass 100 is next.
And the rivalries are heating up as Sam Schmidt Motorsports takes their 6th full front row of the season. Travis Gregg bringing them their 7th pole. Behind them, the Vision Racing teammates. Vision Racing was the fastest team in final practice, and when we asked the Vision guys, they said, well, Sam Schmidt has some kind of magic wand he waves over the cars, and there's no way they're going to be able to race with us when it comes to racing. I asked Tim Neff, the team engineer. He said, no, we've been doing this for 3 years. We know how to get the pole. We know how to win races. Also want to mention, back in the back, Wade Cunningham, 8th starting position. He has 5 second places on the season. He is looking for his first ever win. He is going to have his work cut out for him.
Thank you very much, Cameron. Take a look. Wade Cunningham mired in the midst of the closest point battle in this series' 4-year history. Just 70 points separating the top 5 drivers with 5 events remaining after today. So Cunningham, a lot at stake today. He could lose some ground if he's not very careful to Camara and Gregg, who start up front. Speaking of starting up front, take a look at our starting grid. Sam Schmidt Motorsports teammate Travis Gregg and Jaime Camara. Gregg's 4th pole of the year, 5th of his career. They will lead the charge. Row 2, all Vision Racing. Jay Drake and Nick Bussell. Drake, the reigning USAC Sprint Car champion. Back in row 3, welcome back Marco Andretti, 18-year-old driver, making his 4th start of the year, but only 2nd trip ever to an oval track. And there's John Herb beside him, quickest this morning in the final practice section. He won at Phoenix. Row 4, Chris Festa, the Atlanta native, rising sophomore at Florida State, and the points leader Wade Cunningham. Row 5, freshman that win in Milwaukee, Jeff Simmons, who dominated here and won 2 years ago, and Marty Roth out of Toronto, Canada. And in row 6, making his 38th career start, Ari Leindyke Jr. out of Scottsdale, Arizona, looking for that first win. He has 5 runner-up finishes. And Robbie Buell, the keys to the race here today.
Well, this is a very bumpy racetrack, so it is a real challenge for these drivers to have a well-balanced, well-handling race car from start to finish. Also, the tires. With every lap that passes, these guys are going to lose grip from those tires. So with as bumpy as it is and do 180 miles an hour, that's a real challenge. Another thing is back to the green. Restarts are the places for these guys to really have opportunity to pass the guys in front of them.
All right, they come out of turn 4. Pace car pulls away, and we're waiting for the green flag. Whoa, they scatter out 3 wide, almost make it 4 wide as they cross the start-finish line. Travis Gregg gets a jump and a couple of moves back in the pack. That's John Herb making a move up high. They are still 3 wide.
And another car we saw way back there that looked like he was making even 4 wide, the red and black car, that was Wade Cunningham, our points leader.
There's Chris Festa, the 19 car, making a move on the inside. Festa trying to get 5th spot away. Slides up the racetrack and moves Herb up out of the middle groove.
Now here are your top 3 cars. There's Travis Gregg leading, his teammate Jaime Camara. The 3rd place car there is Marco Andretti. He had a great start.
Marco Andretti, we told you he's only run 3 events. He's won twice at St. Petersburg and Indianapolis back in June from the pole. And Andretti makes the move to the high side. The youngster, 3rd-generation driver, not ever having been on a short oval, a 1.5 mile or less oval like this one, showing some muscle early on, takes the 2nd spot away from Jaime Camara.
And that absolutely is flexing some muscle. To go around somebody on the high side like that, obviously he had some great momentum, but a good handling race car. But remember, we got 67 laps, and as this race goes on, the grip level in these tires does go away a little bit, and as bumpy as it is, that is a challenge. So we got a long way to go.
Great battle shaping up for a 3rd spot. Now these 2 guys put an assault on Andretti for 2nd. There is Jay Drake and Camara. Camara in the 1 car left of your screen, then Andretti in the middle in the Vonage machine, and then Drake in the Vision racing effort going high now, trying to take the third spot away from Marco Andretti.
Yeah, and he's got the momentum. He's got that pass done. Sometimes when you run up on the high side of the racetrack, like we saw Jay go by Marco, sometimes when you're on the high side, the car really rolls off. Look at that. There's another Vision car. Jay Drake has gone by, and that is Nick Bussell, I believe, or John Herb. We'll have to see as we get a little closer.
In the final warm-up this morning, the 3 cars engineered by Vision Racing by Larry Curry were 1, 2, and 3 in the final session. Talking about John Herb, Bussell, and Drake. And they all 3 made gear changes. We're all seeing that potent horsepower come to bear now early on. There's a look at the 20 car, Jay Drake, the reigning USAC champion.
Yep. And now, you know, we just talked about Marco Andretti, who was 3rd in the line of cars. He's gone back to 6. This is all about momentum. It really is. There's a good look. Look at Jay Drake has got a good run. He was poking his nose on the inside of Jamie. They're alongside. Let's see if he can get that done.
Drake has got a busy day planned. He got to head down to Salem, Indiana tonight to run a USAC Sprint midget event. Reigning sprint car champion diving to the inside. You think he was on a 1-mile dirt oval. Takes a spot away from Camara, who slides up across the track.
Now let's see. He'll be able to carry that momentum and really close in on the back of Travis here. We'll see what he has.
Great action here in the early laps at Kentucky Speedway. The Lucas Oil onboard camera giving you a shot of Drake and Camara trying to reel in as well. Camara goes high, and so does Drake here after 6 laps. It is Bussell, Herb, Camara, Drake, and Travis Gregg is our leader. When we return, we'll chronicle the climb of rookie sensation Travis Gregg from the shadows of a dusty short track to the spotlights of the IRL Infiniti Pro Series. The story of Travis Gregg and more in just a moment. And back at Kentucky Speedway, Travis Gregg still being shown as our leader here early on in the Bluegrass 100 in Sparta, Kentucky. Along with IndyCar expert and analyst Robbie Buell, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here today. And Robbie, despite the fact that this track is very, very wide, it's typically very tough to pass here. What's the key to setting up a pass?
Well, it is tough to pass. It's all about timing. You got to have that momentum, get the draft of the car in front of you, pull up alongside, and just be patient. But a guy that's leading this race, Travis Gregg, he knows he needs to protect the bottom of the racetrack. If he protects the bottom of the racetrack, he makes it the long way around for those competitors to go on the high side.
And the key word is patience. And very tough for young drivers to be patient. I guess the older you get, the more patient you become.
Yeah, and when we talk about protecting the bottom of the racetrack and being on that white line, when I talked to Travis Gregg about that, he said, I'm really struggling to keep my car right down on the white line. Last year, he was able to for the first half of the race. He's really struggling today to keep his car down there on the white line, but he's opened up about a 10-car length lead over Jay Drake.
And here's the battle for second spot as John Herb now has caught Jay Drake. Now, both these cars are set up by the same engineer in Larry Curry. And although they're different teams, they work together. Drake in the 20 car has yet to win this year. And above him in the 6 car, John Herb, the former IRL IndyCar Series veteran who won out at Phoenix in the second event of the season.
Yeah, and John Herb, we talked about a little bit earlier up here, is his race car looks really fast on the high side coming off of turn 2. And yesterday, he told me he was all confident. There's our battle for 7th, 8th. That's Chris Festa in the yellow and black car. On the high side of him is our Milwaukee winner, Jeff Simmons, who felt he had a very good race car here as well.
Simmons in the red and white number 24 car out of Ken Hartley's stable. Ken finally getting a well-deserved victory. And here comes, there's a look at Jeff Simmons. Simmons won here at Kentucky Speedway back in 2003. He led wire to wire all 67 laps. And back in that season when he had back-to-back wins at Gateway and here at Kentucky. Now he gives up the spot. The 19-year-old Festa who comes back and takes the position away.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about how competitive this Sears is and how equal these race cars are with these Infiniti motors, everybody having the same Firestone tires, the same car chassis. Look at this battle right here between Wade and the red and black car. There's Chris Festa on his nose, and then
and here's a pass. Again, a wheel-to-wheel battle. Great action here in the Menards Infiniti Pro Series. Travis Gregg has pulled away to a slight margin, but this is a great battle for second spot.
Yeah, both of these guys are out of the same racing table. I would think they would want to work together, say, hey, let's not fight too hard amongst each other. Let's work together and chase down Travis Gregg. John Herb, like I say, yesterday I talked to him. He's got as much confidence as he's ever had, and somebody nicknamed the Herbinator. He's the Herbinator now.
He's the Herbinator. Well, these two guys are chasing is a young man by the name of Travis Gregg, who got his very first start on this track 1 year ago. In fact, this is his home track. Let's hear more about the pride of Camden, Ohio.
Well, this garage was built by my grandfather, and it used to be an old truck servicing garage. We kind of, took over it. There's another shop that was built out back, and we kind of took this over for our sprint cars. Started racing here in Camden, Ohio at G&J Cartway. This is my nephew, Jonathan. He started racing at the end of last year, and he just got back from the Kid Kart Nationals out in St. Louis and won, so looks like racing runs in the blood. Barnett's Incorporated, it's a trucking company. I work upstairs in the office, right across from my mom, dealing with freight invoices and depositing into the bank and little things like that. Camden, it's really not a big town. It's just a small country farm community, basically. And I get the chance to go to a lot of different big cities, but I think this is home to me. It's Powerhouse Pizza. It's one of the pizza places in town. Usually come here on lunch break. See, look at this shirt. I get a lot of support here in Camden.
That's right.
I was a wrestler out of high school. Some of the cheerleaders would come up and, do flips and things, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I had them teach me how to do it. I think there's still a lot to learn. The goal would be to eventually move up. If it does take another year in the Pro Series, to get more experience, then, I'm willing to do that.
And indeed, the pride of Camden, Ohio, about an hour and 45 minutes from here at Kentucky Speedway. Camden, 30 miles west of Dayton, midway between Columbus and Indianapolis. Now, the person who gave Travis Gregg all the inspiration early on by having a go-kart track in the backyard, his dad Gary standing by with our Cameron Steele.
Well, thanks, Doc. Gary, even though successes come fast and often for Travis, you still look like one of the most nervous people I see on pit row.
Well, it's never over till the checkered flag falls. He's leading now. He's starting to walk them pretty good. We just do not need a yellow flag.
We know you taught him to race in the backyard at the go-kart track. You didn't teach him the backflip, though?
No, supposedly the 7th grade cheerleaders, when he was wrestling, taught him how to do that.
There you have it, Travis Gregg looking for his 3rd win on the season.
Travis Gregg has led wire to wire. Thank you very much, Dad. Gary there, a big supporter. And some contact into the wall just a moment ago off of turn 2. Take a look.
That is Travis Gregg's right rear. With him, he kind of hit flat. The right side of his tire hit flat with the wall, so I don't think it damaged anything. You don't want to try and do that again.
No,
but I think he got away with that.
You rarely get lucky in an Indy car at these kind of speeds at 185 miles an hour, but he might have gotten away with one there.
Yeah, we call that a simple white wall. He's got a little white wall.
You'd have to defibrillate me if I hit the wall or something like that. I'll tell you what, at these speeds, great battle here for 5th spot. Jeff Simmons, left side of your screen. Points leader Wade Cunningham, driving for Brian Stewart Racing.
Now, these guys have been, this whole group battling for 5th has been a fantastic race. Simmons now leading that pack with Wade right behind him. Again, when I talked to Jeff earlier, he thought he had a very good race car. He didn't necessarily think he had a fast enough race car to lead the pack, but he really felt he could go anywhere on that racetrack and be solid in that pack. He's obviously showing that he can get through that pack, but he is at the lead of it right now, setting the pace of this pack for fifth on back.
As you look at Wade Cunningham in the 33 car, they're talking about dads being involved. His dad, Bob, is in construction in New Zealand, and he and a couple of his colleagues are involved with that Windward Properties Limited to sponsor this car for Brian Stewart Racing, and that's what really helps Wade come to this country and run in the Menards Infiniti Pro Series. Another dad heavily involved in a success story for his son.
Yeah, and when we were talking there, that was Wade we were talking about. That was Chris Festa that was really setting up on the pass. He hasn't gotten it done, but as we talked earlier, he drafted, he was patient, he ran behind him, he kind of got sucked up and had the momentum and got inside of him and got the pass done. That's how you do it. Nice job.
Chris Festa now moving up to take over the 6th spot. Travis Gregg showing the way. Great action all back in the pack here as we approach just past the halfway point here at the Kentucky Speedway. And the Bluegrass 100 for the Menards Infiniti Pro Series cars back in just a moment. And back at Kentucky Speedway, we are under yellow due to an incident involving an engine with John Herb. And by the way, Chris Festa a moment ago, black flag for blocking. He has been on and off pit road. Robbie, your keys to the race impact here on the restart.
Well, we talked about this being a bumpy racetrack, and we've seen such good closing racing. I think there's a lot of good, balanced, good handling race cars out here. Another key is the restart. Here these guys are flat out on it right now. This is the time to make something happen. We see them 4 wide as they're going by start-finish.
4 wide. It'll be 10 laps to go on the restart. Can Travis Gregg hang on?
Wow, you want to talk about excitement. That's Marco Andretti in the orange car on the high side of the racetrack. He timed that restart. He took advantage of that and created some opportunity. Now up to second place.
From the back of the pack, a great jump by Marco Andretti, the young third-generation driver, son of Michael, grandson of Mario. 3 starts this year. There is Dan Weldon, Tony Kanaan, and Michael Andretti as the Andretti Green contingent watching possibly a future driver with that team try to pick up his first oval track win.
And right now, Travis Gregg, he pulled out a good lead before we went to yellow. He just needs to concentrate, not make any mistakes.
Cameron Steele is down there in the Andretti Green pit, standing by with the reigning Indy 500 winner, Dan Weldon. Cameron?
Well, definitely some excitement going on down here in Marco Andretti's pit. Dan Weldon joined me. A great restart there for Marco, but tell us about how important it is growing up and learning before you actually jump to the IndyCar series. I mean, the ladder series is so important.
Well, it's obviously very, very important, but to Marco, I think he learned so quickly. It's perhaps not important to him, but for me, it was a good training ground, particularly on the ovals. Coming from Europe, it gives you a good, an idea at a lower cost. And for a chance to prove yourself to some of the big team owners. But there's a lot of things that go on an oval that happen at a slower speed in these feeder formulas, and that's a better thing. It's better to learn at a slower speed than perhaps in these Indy cars, because they go 220 plus mile an hour now. So Marco's pretty special, though. I expect him to be with us pretty soon, and I'm sure it'll be running us down.
Well, he's already had a test in the big cars and some excitement going on down here with the restart. Were you guys surprised at how aggressive he was?
I'm not surprised at all in Marco. I think he's a very, very talented individual, and what makes him such a complete package is he's very good in the race car in all areas, but he's a great person off the track too, and yeah, he'll be a big star in the future, I have no doubt.
Thanks, Dan, so much. He's looking for his 5th win on the season as Marco Andretti looks for his first oval win.
Thank you very much, Cameron. Dan Weldon, Indy 500 winner, gave Michael Andretti his very first trip to the victory lane at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this year. And now Marco Andretti under assault from the points leader, Wade Cunningham, with less than 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's always something to be able to catch the car in front of you, but to make that pass, to get by him, that's what's tough. He just has to keep working them, setting them up, getting a draft alongside, see if he can poke a nose in, maybe break the concentration of Marco Andretti just so he has a little bit of a hiccup. But the guys that definitely benefited from that yellow is Wade Cunningham and Jeff Simmons. They had kind of fell further back in the queue with having the yellow and packing everybody back up. Those guys are both pretty strong, both in the top 5 right now.
A year ago, Travis Gregg led the first 57 laps, but began to fade in the final 5 to 7 laps. And a car came from the back of the pack, P.J. Chesson, on a restart and crept by to take the win. 5 laps to go. Marco Andretti tried to pull the P.J. Chesson move of a year ago, couldn't quite get there. Gregg holds on, and now Andretti fights for his life, and second spot is Cunningham now easing in.
Yeah, like I say, Wade's just going to keep pressuring him, maybe force him into a mistake, break his concentration, try him on the high side. If Marco leaves a little hole on the bottom, he'll put his nose down there. But for Travis Gregg, he's done a great job. He's pulled out a little bit of breathing room right now. There's only 4 laps to go. I don't want to talk about him too much to jinx that side of it, but he's done a fantastic job.
Once again, Marco Andretti in the orange number 26, the Vonage machine. Tony Sekeli is the engineer there. He's the engineer they asked to come out of retirement. He helped develop Paul Tracy. He also helped develop the likes of Jacques Villeneuve. He is now working with one Marco Andretti, who is trying to hang on side by side for a second spot with 3 laps to go, and Andretti comes back on the low side.
Yeah, and now if you remember, look at both of these cars running around this oval racetrack side by side. When you're on the high side of the racetrack, that's a longer distance. That's why guys always like to be able to keep the car on the low side and protect the bottom and stay right on the white line and force the guy to go on the high side.
2 laps to go. It'll be white flag for Travis Gregg, who's pulled away by about 8 or 10 car lengths, making 12 car lengths. There comes Gregg, and there's the battle for second side by side. Here comes Wade Cunningham on the final lap. Can the points leader get by? Cunningham's got to look at the big picture, though. He cannot afford contact with that tight point battle and just 5 races to go. 1 turn away. They're in turn 3 and 4, side by side for a second spot. There is Travis Gregg, who has led wire to wire. Gregg takes the win, but second spot, wow.
I don't know. I don't know who took that.
The scoring monitor says Cunningham by inches, by mere inches, will finish second and Andretti third. Let's check in on the Travis Gregg pits.
Well, Gary, you can finally relax down here. Big cheers all around. Your 3rd win on the season.
Right. He did a good job. He brought it home. He did have a yellow flag. They caught up to him, and he pulled it back out. He did a good job.
Not only yellow flag, but a little rub on the wall. Doc, a great race for Travis Gregg.
He led it from wire to wire in front of the hometown fans at Kentucky Speedway. When we come back, we'll talk to the pride of Camden, Ohio, a winner at Kentucky. Back at Kentucky Speedway, the battle for second spot just inches at the line. Cunningham takes the spot.
Yeah, and if we look right here on the line and freeze it right there, the line is right at that point, and Wade just nips Marco.
Probably the width of a wicker bill. Cunningham takes second spot from Marco Andretti. Final results, Travis Gregg the winner. Cunningham, Andretti second and third. Jay Drake finishes 4th. Simmons, Bussell, Roth, Camara, who had some wall contact on that last lap, drops back to 8th spot. Chris Festa, Leindyke, and John Herb, who had an engine failure. Down to victory lane, and Cameron Steele.
Well, he said, hold on a second. The Travis Gregg backflip. And Travis, just want to ask you real quick, how hard did you brush the wall out there?
You know, I thought I broke something. I hit pretty hard. I was excited that, you know, the car was able to go on and, you know, not have any problems.
Well, congratulations on a great run. Travis, the 11th win overall for Sam Schmidt Motorsports in this series. Doc, back up to you.
And Wade Cunningham holds on to the points lead by 27 points over Travis Gregg, who moves into second spot with just 5 events to go. For Robbie Buell, Cameron Steele, and our entire ESPN2 crew, I'm Jerry Punch. Once again, congratulating Travis Gregg on his win today at Kentucky Speedway. Yeah, we invite you to join us next from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. Airtime for our telecast at Pikes Peak, Thursday, August 25th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Once again, congratulations to Travis Gregg. He's a winner today at Kentucky.